Hey everyone, and welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we are going deep on something that's, well, sneakier than a raccoon in a trash can.
Uh-oh. Sounds intriguing.
It's bill cramming.
Bill cramming, huh?
You got it. Have you ever gotten your phone bill and seen these tiny charges for like digital services or premium messaging, things you don't even remember agreeing to?
I think we've all been there.
That's bill cramming. It's like death by 1,000 paper cuts, a few dollars here, a few dollars there, and before you know it, you're emptying your wallet for things you never even wanted.
It's insidious, for sure.
And the worst part, it's so easy to fall prey to this. I remember this one time I was online just browsing for a new recipe, and bam, this pop-up appears out of nowhere, flashing, "Congratulations, you've won a free ringtone."
Oh, no!
I know, right? Being the music lover I am, I clicked it without even thinking.
Of course. A free ringtone, who could resist?
Exactly. Little did I know I was stepping right into a trap.
So what happened?
Lucky for me, I noticed a weird charge on my next bill. Fun Tone's monthly subscription.
Yeah.
And that's when it hit me.
Oh,
I mean, who even uses ringtones these days?
right. It's almost nostalgic at this point. But it's a good example of how these crammers play on our impulses.
Exactly. They exploit our psychology, that desire for a quick reward.
An instant gratification.
Yeah. And before we know it, we've clicked yes without even really understanding what we're getting into.
It's like they're hacking our brains.
Totally. Like in my case, I was so fixated on that free ringtone that I completely missed the tiny text at the bottom of the pop-up that mentioned a recurring subscription fee.
Classic. They hide it in plain sight, knowing most people won't read the fine print.
Ugh, it's so frustrating. And to think they're relying on our trust in the digital world.
Our inherent trust in the systems we use every day.
Okay, so we've established that bill cramming is sneaky and it preys on our weaknesses. But how exactly does this scam work? What are some of those common ways these crammers slip these charges onto our bills?
Well, you've already encountered one, those deceptive pop-ups.
Right, the ringtone trap.
Exactly. But they can offer anything. Really free wallpapers, fake contest wins anything to get you to hand over your phone number, or click a button that starts a hidden subscription.
So it's not just about ringtones then. It could be any kind of digital content or service.
Exactly. We're talking premium weather alerts, horoscopes, even fake antivirus software. And the descriptions they use are intentionally vague, multimedia services, content fees, anything to hide what you're actually being charged for.
Wow, so they really are getting creative with their wording. I bet that makes it even harder to spot these charges when you're looking at your bill.
Oh, absolutely. They're counting on it.
But it sounds like these pop-ups are just the tip of the iceberg. What other tricks do these crammers have up their sleeves?
Well, think about all those quizzes and surveys you see online. The find out which Disney character you are or what's your spirit animal kind of thing.
Oh yeah, those are everywhere. They seem harmless enough.
They might seem that way, but hidden within those fun little questionnaires could be a clause that signs you up for a recurring subscription service without you even realizing it.
Wait, so just by taking a quiz, I could be agreeing to pay for something? That's crazy.
It is. And because these quizzes are often shared amongst friends and family, it creates a sense of trust and legitimacy that makes people even less likely to scrutinize the terms and conditions.
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
We tend to let our guard down when something comes from a friend or a trusted source. Something else that blew my mind was reading that something as simple as entering a contest can lead to cramming. How does that even work?
Think about it. When you enter a contest, you're usually asked for your contact information, right?
Name, email, phone number, the usual.
Crammers can exploit these contests. Sometimes they even set up fake ones just to harvest phone numbers.
So they're basically using contests as bait to reel people in.
Exactly. And then, bam, you start seeing those unwanted charges on your phone bill.
So it's like a delayed reaction scam.
In a way, yes. They might wait a while, hoping you'll forget you even entered the contest, and then they'll slip those charges in, disguised as something totally innocuous.
It's like they're playing the long game. Wow, these tactics are getting more sophisticated by the minute.
They are, and they're constantly evolving. Crammers are always looking for new ways to exploit vulnerabilities and take advantage of our trust.
Okay, you've officially creeped me out. Now I'm paranoid about every quiz I take and every contest I enter. But seriously, it sounds like these crammers can get you from all angles. It's like a digital minefield out there.
It can definitely feel that way. But the good news is, with awareness comes power.
That's a perfect segue to our next point. Let's talk about how to actually spot these sneaky charges on our bills. What should we, the unsuspecting public be looking out for?
The key is to be vigilant and to really scrutinize every single line item on your phone bill, no matter how small.
Okay, so channel our inner Sherlock Holmes.
Exactly. Look for anything that seems unfamiliar, anything that's vaguely described, especially recurring charges for services that you don't remember signing up for.
So basically, anything with those generic descriptions we talked about earlier, like digital content or premium services, those are red flags.
Big red flags. And also, pay attention to any sudden increases in your bill, even if it's just a few dollars. It could be a sign that a cramming charge has been slipped in.
I never thought about that.
Yeah.
It's easy to dismiss a small increase, especially if you're not really paying close attention.
Right, and that's what they're hoping for. But those small increases can add up over time.
This is great stuff.
Yeah.
What else should we be watching out for?
Well, another thing that often gets overlooked is data usage.
Oh, yeah. Got data usage.
Keep track of how much you typically use.
Right.
If you see a sudden spike that you can't explain, it could be a sign that a hidden app or service is running in the background, racking up charges without you even knowing.
Oh, wow. I never would have thought to connect data usage with cramming. It makes perfect sense, though. Sneaky apps lurking in the shadows, using up precious data and costing us money.
Exactly. It's all about being aware of those details, questioning anything that seems out of place.
Right. Being our own data detective.
Precisely. And, don't be afraid to reach out to your phone company if you see anything suspicious.
What point?
They have dedicated teams to handle billing disputes and can often provide more information about those charges on your bill.
So it's like we're gathering clues, building our case, and then presenting it to the phone company for their expert analysis.
I like that analogy. It's about taking charge and advocating for yourself.
Exactly. But let's say we do find something fishy on our bills. What steps can we take to fight back and get those charges removed?
The first and most important step is to contact your phone company immediately.
Okay, so reach out ASAP.
Yes, most providers have specific departments that deal with billing disputes, and they're usually pretty responsive to cramming complaints.
All right, so speed is key. But what should we say when we call them? Do we need to have like a script or specific information ready?
Definitely be prepared to give them all the details about the charges you're disputing, the date they appeared on your bill, the amount, the description.
Okay.
And if you have any screenshots or documentation of that deceptive pop-up or offer that tricked you into it, that's even better.
Oh, right. So it's like building a case. The more evidence we have, the stronger our argument.
Exactly. And don't be afraid to be assertive. You have the right to know what you're being charged for, and you have the right to dispute any charges that you believe are unauthorized.
Right. We're not going to let them walk all over us.
Exactly. Be polite but firm, and don't back down until you get a satisfactory resolution.
I love it. So we contact the phone company armed with our evidence and our confident voices. What happens next? Do they just automatically remove the charges?
In a lot of cases, yes. If they can see that the charges were unauthorized, they'll usually remove them from your bill pretty quickly. But sometimes it might not be that easy. The cramming company might have disguised their charges so well that it's difficult to prove they were unauthorized.
Ugh, that sounds frustrating. What do we do then? Do we just wave the white flag and pay the bogus charges?
No way! Remember, you have options if your phone company isn't being helpful or you're just not satisfied with the response. Don't give up.
Okay, so what are our other options? What else can we do?
You can file a complaint with the Federal Trade Commission.
The FTC.
Yep, the FTC. They have a whole division dedicated to fighting cramming and other deceptive marketing practices.
Wow, I no idea.
They take these complaints very seriously, and they have the power to investigate and take action against companies that are engaging in these shady tactics.
So even if the phone company isn't budging, we can go straight to the FCC and let them know what's going on.
Exactly. You can file a complaint online or by phone. It's pretty straightforward, and the FTC has tons of resources to help you navigate the whole process.
That's fantastic. It feels good to know that there are organizations out there that are on our side.
Absolutely. And actually, while you're at it, you can also report the incident to your state's attorney general.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of states have consumer protection units that can help you get your money back and hold those crammers accountable.
So we've got the phone company, the FTC, and the state attorney general. Triple threat against these scammers. This is good to know. But let's be realistic. Is there any guarantee that we'll actually get our money back? This whole process sounds like it could take a while.
It's true. There are no guarantees. But the good news is that in a lot of cases, those crammers are forced to issue refunds when consumers take action and report them to the authorities.
Oh, so that's encouraging.
It might take some persistence, some follow-up, but it's usually worth the effort.
So we got to fight the good fight. But even better than having to fight those charges after the fact is avoiding them altogether.
100%. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Love that saying.
Yeah.
So let's shift gears and talk about prevention. What can we do to protect ourselves from falling prey to these cramming scams in the first place?
One of the most effective things you can do is opt out of premium services.
Opt out?
Yeah, most phone carriers give you the option to block third-party charges, particularly those related to premium SMS or subscription services.
So we can basically shut down that avenue completely.
Pretty much, it's like putting up a big do not enter sign for those sneaky charges.
I like it. So we're creating a barrier,
Mm.
protecting our phone bills from unwanted intruders.
Exactly. And it's usually pretty easy to do. You can manage these settings online or just give your carrier a quick call.
That's good to know. It sounds like a no-brainer. Why would you opt out if it means avoiding those scams? But what about for parents out there who are worried about their kids accidentally racking up charges? What can they do?
Parental controls are a lifesaver for that. Most smartphones and tablets have built-in parental control features.
Right.
You can restrict access to certain apps, websites, even prevent in-app purchases.
So it's like creating a safe digital playground for your kids where they can explore without the risk of falling into a cramming trap.
You got it. It gives them freedom, but also protects them from those unwanted charges.
I love that. Any other golden nuggets of wisdom for avoiding these cramming scams?
This one might seem obvious, but it's easy to forget. Be mindful of where you're sharing your phone number.
Self-care.
Try to avoid entering it on websites you don't trust, online contests that seem a bit shady, or for services that just sound too good to be true.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like we should be guarding our phone number like it's a precious treasure.
Exactly. You never know where that information could end up, so better safe than sorry.
Okay, opt out of premium services, use parental controls, and guard our phone numbers carefully. Got it. What else?
And lastly, the advice everyone gives, but we often ignore, read the fine print.
Ugh, I know it's like the digital equivalent of flossing,
Right. We know we should do it, but...
but we don't always want to.
Exactly. But in this case, those few minutes of reading could save you a lot of trouble and money down the line.
It's so true. So before signing up for anything, online or through our phones, we should always take a moment to actually read those terms and conditions.
Absolutely. Look for any mention of subscriptions, recurring charges, third-party services, things that you might be unknowingly agreeing to.
It's like playing a game of Where's Waldo, but with sneaky charges instead of a guy in a striped shirt.
Ah, I like that. The point is, be aware that those details are important and they can cost you money if you're not careful.
Okay, you've convinced me reading the fine print is a must. It's like a treasure hunt. But instead of finding gold, we're avoiding those hidden fees.
Exactly. It's about being an informed and empowered consumer.
All right. I'm feeling much more confident now that we've talked about all these prevention strategies. It sounds like knowledge and vigilance are really our best weapons against bill cramming.
They really are.
But before we wrap up, is there anything else we should be thinking about in relation to this whole issue?
You know what's interesting to consider is the bigger picture of bill cramming, the broader implications beyond just the individual cases.
Oh yeah, like what?
Well, it raises questions about consumer trust and the responsibility that service providers have to protect us.
That's a great point. We've been focusing on what we can do as individuals, but this is a systemic issue, isn't it?
It is, and it makes you wonder, should we be more skeptical of all the charges we see on our bills, even those that seem legitimate?
Right. Because once that trust is broken, it's hard to get it back.
Exactly. Bill cramming can really erode our faith in the whole billing system, making us question everything.
And that's a slippery slope. If we can't trust our bills, what can we trust? This definitely gives us a lot to think about.
It does, and that's what's so great about the deep dive. It's not just about giving information, it's about sparking those deeper conversations, making us think critically about the world around us.
Absolutely. So we've covered the mechanics of bill cramming, how to spot it, how to fight back, and how to prevent it. But this final point about trust and accountability, that's what really sticks with me.
I agree. It's like the underlying theme that connects everything.
It really does make you think, doesn't it? It's not just about a few dollars here and there. It's about a much bigger issue of transparency, accountability, and our right as consumers to understand what we're paying for.
Absolutely. And I think bill cramming really highlights how the consumer landscape is changing.
How so?
Well, we're interacting more and more with companies and services through digital platforms, and it's easier for these kinds of deceptive practices to slip through the cracks.
So it's like a new frontier for scammers, a digital Wild West where the rules are still being written,
You could say that, and it makes consumer awareness and education even more important than ever before.
Right. We need to be savvy digital citizens, understanding our rights and knowing how to protect ourselves,
Exactly.
which is exactly what we're doing here today, shining a light on these scams and equipping our listeners with the knowledge to stay safe.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
All right, folks, that wraps up our deep dive into bill cramming. Hopefully you've learned some valuable tips and tricks today to protect yourself from this sneaky scam. Remember, knowledge is power, and now you have the power to outsmart those crammers.
And don't forget to spread the word, share this information with your friends, family, colleagues. Let's all look out for each other.
Exactly. The more people who know about bill cramming, the less effective it becomes. And as always, stay curious, stay vigilant, and keep those phone bills in check.
Happy diving, everyone.
See you later. It really does. It makes you realize that it's not just about the money. It's about something bigger, you know? It's about feeling secure and knowing that the systems we rely on are actually working in our best interest.
Right. It's about trust and transparency and feeling like we have some control over our digital lives.
Exactly. And that can be hard when you're constantly bombarded with these sneaky tactics and hidden fees.
It definitely makes you more cautious, more aware of the potential pitfalls.
For sure. But it also highlights the importance of having these conversations, of shining a light on these issues and empowering people to protect themselves.
Absolutely. Knowledge is power, and the more we understand about how these scams work, the better equipped we are to fight back.
Okay, folks, that wraps up our deep dive into bill cramming. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the psychology behind these scams to the practical steps you can take to spot them, fight back, and prevent them from happening in the first place. Hopefully you're feeling a little more informed and a lot less vulnerable.
And remember, you're not alone in this. Bill cramming is a widespread issue, but by talking about it, by sharing this information, we can make a difference.
Exactly. Let's spread the word, educate each other, and create a more transparent and trustworthy digital world. And as always, stay curious, stay vigilant, and keep those phone bills in check.
Happy diving, everyone!
See you later.